Welcome to the studio at Africa's Green Economy Summit. Today we are joined by Iain Banner, who is the chairman of the E-Movement and the founder of the Go Green Initiative. Welcome, Iain.
Thank
you, It's a pleasure to
Nancy.
have you with us in studio today. So as I'm sure you know, road transport is responsible for over 90% of transport emissions on the road, and yet EV uptake is really slow. So as the chairman of the E-Movement, why do you think this is?
It's very clear why it is. Firstly, we have this ridiculous taxation of 25% on electric vehicles, which should be abolished immediately by the government simply because that'll help create jobs. We've got to get into production in this country of initially, I think, assembling vehicles. We already manufacture 720,000 vehicles, of which 70% are exported. They all got to go green because the 70%, that's 420,000 vehicles, are going to Europe. By 2030, they cannot have a combustion engine. So we're going to have a change internally. But we should, given the latent demand that there is for electric vehicles, which will be realized if the taxation was dropped, there should be incentives, not disincentives. So currently, taxation is higher on e-cars than it is on imported combustion vehicles. So we've got to get that right. And then we've got to get our manufacturing going so we can create jobs. And we've got to do some of the things we are planning to do this week, in fact, which I'll tell you more about.
Mm-hmm. And so then knowing that there are so many obstacles in the e-space and in the mobility space, why do you think it's important to have events such as Africa's Green Economy Summit and the upcoming Cape Town e-Prix?
So this country is going to come right through the actions of people in the country, not through the government, unfortunately. The government's stuck. And whatever the history, I'm not going to get into it, it is what it is. But you'll see that civic society is generally what has saved us in the past in this country. And it is business that will save us in the future. The democratization of the generation of energy, which has happened through this crisis, is the single most important thing that's happened in energy in maybe 100 years. I don't know, in a very long time. Why? Because now we have capital flowing in from all over the world to fund these projects because the environment, the legislation has changed that allows for that. So that's a big help to Eskom. Eskom's a brilliant distribution business. It's got distribution to 97% of the country. I don't think there's even in the old Soviet Union times that, I don't know if it had that good a distribution. So that they must focus on the things they're good at. And right now, renewable energy generation and even mining, which still has to be done to some extent, needs to be done to support the energy production. And then we need to go sort out transmission. That's the next big challenge. But really, these are obstacles that can be overcome through some decent policy and smart thinking.
And bringing it back to mobility a little bit, what do you see specifically being the role of electric vehicles in Africa's green economy?
So I think there's two things to consider. Firstly, you need infrastructure. It's not just all about roads. It's about rail as well, and electric rail in time. So we've got to get our overall infrastructure strategy and policy sorted too. So we need investment in that. But on the roads, why drive? Firstly, combustion engines are a thing of the past. Forget it if you think it's the thing of the future. It ain't. It's gone. It's finished. And you see that elsewhere in the world where we are still behind the curve. But if you go to Europe, take Norway, 89% of new vehicles sold in Norway are electric. An electric car actually performs, I've had one for 5 years, it performs better than a combustion engine. And I've loved combustion engines, don't get me wrong. I've loved the noise, I've loved the engine, I love the amazing innovation but that was for another time. This is a more efficient way of operating. And wait till you start drawing from the sun and actually using that energy to power your electric vehicle. We can get into discussions about electric batteries and what the cost is to the environment in producing those batteries. It's real. It's about a third of the life of at about 30,000 kilometers, you move out of deficit into a positive. You've got to get to 30,000 because batteries are mined essentially. I mean, the contents, lithium, etc., aluminium or whatever, cobalt, they all get mined. So that's, black mining, let's call it. But you get beyond that. And now that those batteries can be reused and recycled, means that whilst might be up to 32 or 33%, next time it's 16 or 17%, and the next time it's 8% if you get the reuse. So it's got an exciting future.
And speaking of exciting futures, let's talk a little bit about the Go Green initiative, which I believe is going to be launched at the Cape Town EPRI this weekend. Yes, so how do you think the initiative will benefit Africa's pursuits towards the green economy?
So the essential role of us as Go Green is to be an agent for change. So we want to be what I call responsible for creating a workshop rather than a talk shop. It's all very well talking about these things. I want to see outcomes. And we do that through collaboration. There's no one organization or one individual or one government that can resolve this issue for Africa, for South Africa, for Africa. We have to come together and collaborate. And in that collaboration, find the solutions that are required to enjoy the successes that lie ahead.
Thank you so much for speaking with us today, and especially on touching on collaboration for Africa's green future. And for all of our viewers out there who are watching, let us know what you think in the comment section down below, and make sure to like and subscribe to see more content like this. See you in the next video.